Report. Will Trump's trade war hurt Australia? Introduction. The trade war initiated by former President Donald Trump has had significant implications for global trade dynamics. As Australia is a key player in international markets, particularly as an exporter, the question arises, will Trump's trade war hurt Australia? This report explores the potential impacts of the trade war on Australia's economy, trade relationships, and industry sectors. Overview of the trade war. The US-China trade war began in 2018, characterized by the imposition of tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods. The conflict aimed to address trade imbalances and intellectual property theft, but it led to increased tensions not only between the US and China but also affected other nations, including Australia. Economic impact on Australia. 1. Export markets. Australia relies heavily on its exports, particularly to major trading partners like China and the US. Key sectors such as agriculture, mining, and manufacturing could face reduced demand due to tariffs imposed during the trade war. For instance, Australian beef and wine exports to China might become less competitive if Chinese tariffs increase, potentially leading to significant revenue losses. 2. Supply chains. Many Australian companies operate within global supply chains that involve the US and China. Tariffs and trade restrictions can lead to increased costs, complicating logistics and reducing competitiveness. Industries that depend on imported components may experience delays and higher prices, impacting production timelines and profitability. 3. Investment flows. Uncertainty stemming from the trade war may deter foreign investment in Australia, particularly from US companies that could be adversely affected by broader geopolitical tensions. Reduced investment can stifle innovation and growth in key sectors, impacting long-term economic prospects. 4. Economic growth. A slowdown in trade with major partners could hinder Australia's economic growth. Decreased exports may lead to job losses and reduced consumer spending, which can further exacerbate economic challenges. The Reserve Bank of Australia has noted that global trade tensions have the potential to dampen economic activity. Opportunities for diversification. While there are significant risks associated with the trade war, there are also opportunities for Australia to strengthen trade relationships with other countries. Countries in Asia, Europe, and beyond may seek alternatives to US products, allowing Australia to position itself as a key supplier in new markets. This diversification can help mitigate the negative effects of the trade war and foster economic resilience. Conclusion. In conclusion, Trump's trade war poses several challenges for Australia, particularly concerning its export-oriented economy and global supply chains. While the potential for economic harm exists, there are also avenues for growth through diversification and the strengthening of trade relationships with other nations. The long-term effects of the trade war will depend on the evolution of trade policies and the global economic landscape. Australia must navigate these challenges strategically to minimize risks and capitalize on new opportunities. Recommendations. Diversify trade partners. Australia should actively pursue new trade agreements and strengthen existing relationships with countries in Asia and Europe. Support export industries. Implementing measures to support affected industries, such as agriculture and manufacturing, can help mitigate negative impacts. Monitor economic indicators. Continuous assessment of economic indicators and trade relationships will be essential for adapting to changing global conditions. By taking proactive measures, Australia can better position itself to withstand the challenges posed by the trade war and enhance its economic resilience. How did Australia's government respond to the trade war's challenges? Australia's government responded to the challenges posed by Trump's trade war through a multifaceted approach aimed at mitigating risks and enhancing trade opportunities. Key responses included: 1. Strengthening trade relationships. Diversification of markets. Australia actively sought to diversify its trade partnerships beyond the US and China. Initiatives included strengthening ties with countries in the Asia-Pacific region, Europe, and other emerging markets. Trade agreements. The government pursued new free trade agreements, FTAs, and sought to enhance existing ones. Notable agreements included those with the European Union and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, in Asia. 2. Supporting affected industries. Financial assistance. The government provided financial support and incentives to industries directly impacted by the trade war, particularly agriculture and manufacturing. This included grants and support for innovation and competitiveness. Market access initiatives. Efforts were made to help Australian exporters gain access to new markets and reduce dependence on a single market, thereby increasing resilience against potential trade disruptions. 3. Engaging in diplomatic efforts. Bilateral dialogues. Australia engaged in diplomatic discussions with both the US and China to advocate for open trade and the resolution of trade tensions. This included dialogues aimed at addressing mutual concerns without escalating conflicts. Participation in multilateral forums. Australia took an active role in international forums such as the World Trade Organization, WTO, to promote fair trade practices and address issues related to global trade dynamics. 4. Monitoring economic impact. Economic analysis. The government conducted regular assessments of the economic impact of the trade war on various sectors. This analysis informed policy decisions and allowed for timely interventions where necessary. Adapting policies. Based on economic indicators and trends, the government remained flexible in its policy responses, adjusting strategies to better support the economy and affected industries. 5. Promoting innovation and competitiveness. Investment in technology. The government emphasized the importance of innovation and technology in enhancing the competitiveness of Australian industries. Supporting initiatives that promote research and development. Skills development. Programs were implemented to upskill the workforce, ensuring that Australian industries could adapt to changing market conditions and maintain competitiveness in a global context. By adopting these strategies, Australia's government aimed to navigate the complexities of the trade war, minimize negative impacts on its economy, and capitalize on new opportunities for growth. How successful were Australia's efforts to diversify its trade markets? Australia's efforts to diversify its trade markets have seen varying degrees of success, influenced by several factors. 1. Growth in emerging markets. Asia-Pacific focus. Australia successfully strengthened trade relationships with countries in the Asia-Pacific region, such as Japan, South Korea, and members of the ASEAN bloc. This shift helped reduce reliance on China and the US. Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP. Australia's participation in RCEP, which includes 15 countries, aimed to enhance trade relationships within Asia, providing access to a market of over 2 billion people. 2. New trade agreements. Free trade agreements, FTAs. Australia pursued new FTAs, such as with the European Union and the United Kingdom. These agreements aim to open new markets for Australian goods and services. Enhanced existing agreements. Strengthening existing agreements, such as those with Singapore and Thailand, has also contributed to market diversification. 3. Agricultural exports. Increased opportunities. Australian agricultural exports found new markets in countries like India, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. For example, beef and dairy exports have expanded in these regions. Challenges remain. Despite growth, Australian agricultural exporters still face challenges, including competition from other countries and varying trade regulations. 4. Impact of global events. COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic disrupted global supply chains and trade flows, impacting Australia's diversification efforts. However, it also highlighted the importance of resilient supply chains and the need for alternative markets. Geopolitical tensions. Ongoing geopolitical tensions, particularly between the US and China, have created both challenges and opportunities for Australia to position itself as a stable trade partner. 5. Trade performance indicators. Export growth. Australia's total exports have shown resilience, with diversification efforts contributing to growth in sectors like technology and services, alongside traditional exports like minerals and agriculture. Economic dependence. While diversification efforts have been beneficial, Australia remains somewhat dependent on China for a significant portion of its exports, indicating that further work is needed. Conclusion. Overall, Australia's efforts to diversify its trade markets have been moderately successful, leading to increased trade with emerging economies and the establishment of new trade agreements. However, ongoing challenges, including global economic fluctuations and geopolitical tensions, require continued focus on enhancing and expanding these diversification strategies. What specific policies facilitated Australia's growth in Asia-Pacific trade? Australia's growth in Asia-Pacific trade has been facilitated by several specific policies and initiatives. 1. Free trade agreements, FTAs. Bilateral FTAs. Australia has established numerous bilateral trade agreements with key Asia-Pacific countries, including Japan, South Korea, and China. These agreements reduce tariffs and barriers, making it easier for Australian goods and services to enter these markets. Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP. Australia's participation in RCEP, which includes 15 countries in the region, aims to enhance economic integration and trade cooperation, creating a more favourable trading environment. 2. Trade promotion initiatives. Australia's Trade and Investment Commission, Austrade. This government agency supports Australian businesses in exporting and investing in Asia-Pacific markets. Austrade provides market insights, networking opportunities, and guidance on navigating trade regulations. Export Market Development Grants, EMDG. This program offers financial assistance to Australian businesses seeking to enter or expand in international markets. helping to offset the costs of marketing and promoting their products abroad. 3. Investment in infrastructure. Infrastructure development. The Australian government has invested in infrastructure projects that enhance connectivity and logistics, facilitating smoother trade routes and efficient supply chains with Asia-Pacific partners. 4. Economic diplomacy. Bilateral dialogues and summits. Australia has engaged in high-level diplomatic discussions and trade summits with Asia-Pacific countries to strengthen relationships and negotiate favorable trade terms. Participation in regional forums. Engagement in forums like the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, and the ASEAN Regional Forum has allowed Australia to collaborate on trade issues and promote regional economic integration. 5. Support for key sectors. Sector-specific strategies. The government has developed targeted strategies to support key sectors such as agriculture, education, and technology, aiming to boost exports and capitalize on demand in Asia-Pacific markets. Innovation and R&D investment. Policies encouraging innovation and research and development in industries like technology and agriculture have enhanced competitiveness and appeal in international markets. 6. Education and skills development. International education policies. Australia has promoted its education sector, attracting international students from Asia-Pacific countries. This not only generates significant revenue but also fosters long-term trade relationships. Workforce development initiatives. Investing in skills development ensures that Australian industries are equipped to meet the demands of expanding markets. 7. Trade facilitation measures. Streamlining customs processes. Efforts to simplify customs procedures and enhance border security have made it easier for Australian businesses to export their goods efficiently. Digital trade initiatives. Adoption of digital trade policies and e-commerce strategies has facilitated smoother trade transactions and access to online markets in the Asia-Pacific region. These policies collectively contribute to Australia's enhanced trade relationships and growth in the Asia-Pacific region, positioning the country as a competitive and reliable trading partner.